Hi, I'm Sean with the Mission Matters Group. We are so happy that you decided to engage in this e-course called Making Strategic Decisions in Real Time. Now more than ever, given the impact of COVID, leaders need tools that will help them be agile and really react to the world as it's changing around them. We feel these tools that we're going to review in this session will equip leaders and leadership teams to be nimble and agile and to quickly change course as they need to and if they need to. So in this session, we're going to review a handful of tools that equip you to do that. But before we do that, I just want to share a little bit about Mission Matters Group. We're a group of professionals that believe strongly in the promise of nonprofit organizations and the passion of people to transform communities. We largely work with nonprofits by implementing technology solutions and strategic planning frameworks that really are aimed at equipping organizations to have greater accomplishment of their mission. So that's a little bit about us and a little bit about myself. I lead our strategic consulting services there, and we're going to jump right in as we're already started on the first session here. So some of the course objectives that we are going to review throughout the 4 different sessions we have that we've laid out here. The first one in the second course is we're going to teach you how to discover, create, and really bring together your organizational convictions. So these convictions are just the deep beliefs of your organization, your mission, your core values, your vision. And while you may be saying, gosh, we have all of those things, hold on, there still is probably something here for you, whether it's just a refresh or whether it's better organizing that information so that you can use it in a uniform and aligned way. There'll be something there, we're pretty sure, for you, even if you feel really good about your mission, vision, and values. After we bring together those convictions, we're then going to talk about how do you create a strategy screen, and what is a strategy screen? A strategy screen is really just a simple set of criteria that allows you to make big decisions through. So you have a new opportunity you could potentially pursue. How do you know if you should do it or not? Is it in alignment with a set of criteria that you agree to as an organization? And in the last session, the fourth session of this course, we're going to bring everything together and talk about how do you use your organizational convictions, how do you use your strategy screen to make strategic decisions in real time. Just a quick overview of the course sessions here. So this session we're in right now, we're going to do a brief overview of what are organizational convictions, what is a strategy screen, and then we're going to talk about how we bring it all together. We're also going to talk about what you can expect from this course as far as how everything is lined out and how you can move through the content materials. One of the things you'll notice as you've logged in is that there are videos, there are worksheets, and there are exemplars. The videos are exactly what you're watching right now. We're going to teach through some content. We're going to give you the opportunity to pause the video at various times, and we'll refer to either a worksheet or an exemplar. A worksheet is exactly what it sounds like. It's just going to be a blank template or form for you to work through the teachings that we're going over, and we'll give you opportunities. We'll say pause the video right now and go ahead and work on filling in your answer to your exist statement or setting your own unique criteria for your organization for your strategy screen. An exemplar is a filled out worksheet. So we have some sample filled out worksheets that we call exemplars. And that's basically, if you want to see an example, if you want to cut to the end of the chase and you want to see, well, what does this look like in real life, or what would a filled out version of one of these worksheets look like, you can look at that and you'll have a great way to have a practical example. So we like for people to be able to see it and then to be able to recognize what's the unique modification for my organization. And the last piece I want you to know about the course here is you can work at your own pace. These videos aren't long, but sometimes there might be a lot packed into 30 seconds or a minute, and you might want to rewind it and play it back over and over again, and that's great. Do it at your own pace. Pause. We're going to give you promptings to pause, but you can pause anytime you want and come back in, and you can access the worksheets and exemplars at a pace that works for you. Some of the things that we've been hearing from the organizations that we work with right now, and by the way, this is why we think this course is so important right now. These are direct quotes. It feels like my big goals for 2020 are irrelevant now. We have several opportunities we could pivot to, but I'm not sure how we pick the right ones. And then the last one, should I be thinking about anything beyond COVID right now? These quotes and these questions that our clients that we work with have brought to us so many times over the last 2 to 3 months have led us to create this simple e-course and a couple of tools that will help leaders to be equipped to work through and choose the right opportunities that are in alignment with their mission and their vision. And really the thing that we want you to walk away with more than anything, think of this as kind of a bottom line learning for this course. In an ever-changing world, leaders need to embrace a mindset of agility and adaptability. So these tools are aimed at equipping you to be more agile and more adaptable. The world is always going to be changing around you, but right now it's changing. It's already changed quite a bit. And we need, as leaders, to continue to be adaptable and agile. We need to work in shorter periods of time. We need to not be so concerned about detailed long-term planning. Instead, clear about long-term vision and direction, and be flexible on how we get there. Okay, as I mentioned before, when you hear the terms mission, core values, vision, you may roll your eyes and say, oh gosh, I've been through this rodeo before. Well, that's okay. We recognize that many organizations have already done work around mission, vision, and values. But a lot of times, in fact, when we work with clients, we often hear when we're diving into either organizational health work or strategic planning, we always bring mission and core values into it. And sometimes what we hear people say is, oh yeah, we did that work a few months ago or a few years ago. I'm not quite sure where it is. Hey Joe, do you have that? Can you go find that? And can someone get that out? So clearly when we hear that, what we're hearing is those haven't really become sticky in the culture. They're not easy to recite. People don't necessarily can't reference how they're being used to make decisions or how they're being used to nurture and build culture. So you may have them, but you need a refresher or you need to be recharged so that they are really alive and in the culture. You may also have them, maybe you're a leader who took over for another leader and they have great values, but the working definitions of them could use a little bit of brushing up. So they might need to be refined. In some cases, your organizational convictions, again, your mission, your vision, your values, where you're headed long-term 10-year targets, they may need quite a bit of revision. And lastly, maybe you've never created them before and you're creating them from scratch. Regardless of where you are in that journey, there will be something for you in this course, and we would encourage you to dive into the teachings and the exercises, work through the worksheets with these new definitions, possibly new for you, depending on how you thought about these before, and work at it again. Now, we don't want anyone to recreate something that's already working really well, but there's always an opportunity to refine, or as we said before, just to be recharged and get these alive and in your culture. Okay, so we're getting near the end of the first session here, which again is really just an orientation to what you can expect from this e-course. One of the things we want you to do as we are ending this session is, and as soon as I get done, I'll prompt you to pause the video here and look at the PDF called Organizational Convictions. When you're reviewing it, take a few minutes and think through a couple of questions. Take about 10 or 15 minutes to write on your own, type out, write on a notebook, whatever works for you. These are the two questions that we want you to think about. Are these convictions known at your organization? So is the mission, the core values, your distinct impact you want to have, and your change the world target, are those known at your organization? That's the first question. The second question is, what might it mean for your organization to have this level of clarity on your most important convictions? What might it mean for your organization to have this level of clarity on your organizational convictions? These are your most deep beliefs. And again, when you go to that worksheet, you'll see we refer to these as your organizational convictions are your mission, your core values, the distinct impact you want to have, and your change the world target. We're going to get into the next session. We're going to go backwards and work into detail to how you create those. But right now, we just want you to look at that PDF, organizational convictions, look at that filled out example, and ask yourself, are these convictions known at your organization? What might it mean? And what level of clarity would it bring if they were? So go ahead and pause for a few minutes, think through those couple of questions, take as long as you need, and when you're done, restart the video. All right, so hopefully you've had some time to think about what it would mean for your organization to have those type of organizational convictions defined and clear for you as a team. And hopefully you've journaled, written down what that would mean. And we're so excited that you did that, because we're wrapping up here, and we just want to emphasize a couple of things as we wrap up this first session. It's really important that we get the long-term vision and direction nailed down. So when we think about just change the world target, if you're familiar with Jim Collins, he refers to this as your big, hairy, audacious goal. If you're familiar with the book Traction and the Entrepreneur's Operating System, they refer to this as your 10-year target. We like the change the world target, and we really want you to sweat this. We want you to as a team, kick it around and think about, like, where do you envision being, and what's a measurable metric or two that in which you could say, here's where this is the impact, this is the desired future state that we want to be. We want you to really focus on that, and we want you to focus on the desired impact. So what that means is, when your mission is lived out and you're successfully achieving it, what's the impact look like in a measurable way? So many organizations and leaders of mission-driven organizations struggle to say the impact we're going to have will look like this if we're successful in our mission. So we want you to be able to say, beyond a shred of a doubt, in a very concrete and measurable way, this is the impact we're going to have if we are successful in our mission. And the last point we want to emphasize here is, rather than spending months and months creating plans that could very easily be impacted the next day, such as, think about it, if you had created a 75-page strategic plan and finished it the month before COVID hit, so much of that work would probably be irrelevant. Instead, we want you to focus on high-level vision, high-level direction, and then we can fill in the details. We can adapt and we can change on the objectives and key results we want to see that will get us to achieve that high-level vision and overall direction. So that's it for the first session. You can go ahead and work back through this as much as you need to. Reference the worksheet the one worksheet that we talked about in this session, and we're going to pick up and we're going to dive into some greater detail on how to create your organizational convictions in the next session. Thank you.